Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of ACC Basics. Today we're gonna discuss racing in the wet. Grab yourselves a cup of tea and a blanket because we're gonna get cozy. The first thing you gotta keep in mind is that driving in the rain is a totally different beast from racing on that sweet dry tarmac. And it's a skill you'll need to learn. All the tips and guides in the world aren't going to make you a fast rain driver if you don't practice in the wet. The first thing you gotta learn is how to control the car on a soaking wet track. Using the wet preset the game offers is a great first step. If you're not familiar with setting up your car or with racing in the rain, don't start to tweak that setup just yet. We'll get to that later. The tracks in ACC get really slippery when wet, and you've got to find all the grip you can to stay on track and keep moving. And if you didn't know already, you can't move as fast as you normally go. Throttle control is the first thing you'll have to practice. And never go full throttle when your vehicle is not in a straight line. You will spin out. Be gentle with the throttle. Touch it sensually. Massage it with your foot. Baby, treat it like a queen. Balance the gas pedal in a way that keeps you going at a steady pace, but don't go over the limit. You can feel it when you're giving it too much. Your car will start sliding and go sideways in most cases. The next step to stay in control of your car is to brake on time. Your braking distance is greatly increased in the rain. Braking late will likely put you somewhere on the side of the road. An easy way to brake on time is to use your normal braking markers and remember to brake a little earlier than you normally would in dry conditions. The wet preset provides you with enough ABS to prevent your brakes from locking up. And if you don't think so, crank that baby up. The next thing on my list is avoiding curbs. They're more slippery than a Las Vegas stripper during a heat wave. If you accelerate too hard on them, you will have a bad time. If you turn too much on them, you will have a bad time. Curbs are dangerous in the rain, so your best bet is to avoid them. And if you can, don't accelerate or turn on them too abruptly. Let your car coast for a sec until you're back on track. While we're on the topic of not turning too abruptly, my next tip is be smooth. Don't yoink your wheel all of a sudden to one side. Be smooth with your steering inputs. When you gotta correct your steering inputs, avoid quick and big moves. Instead, try to smoothly get your wheel to the right place. And the same goes for the throttle. I've said it before and I'll say it again, be gentle with the gas pedal. Treat it like you would treat your mother. Don't stomp on her, don't kick her. Nudge her in the right direction and you'll be golden. Configuring the right setup can greatly assist you when driving in the wet. And the wet preset does a fantastic job and it's a great start. And if you don't know much about setups, don't mess with it just yet. Go and check out my short and sweet setup guide. That'll help you get right on track. If you do want to change your setup to make it that little bit extra sweet, here's a few things that might help you out. First things first, close the brake ducts a little more than normal. The 0 setting means they're completely closed, and don't do that. But 1 or 2 settings above closed is beautiful for a cold and rainy track. By closing them somewhat more, you'll retain more heat in the brakes and making them babies more effective, and your tires will also be a little bit warmer. Secondly, prioritize downforce over speed. Driving in the rain can be equated to a quest for grip. Help yourself as much as possible by increasing your downforce. Lastly, soften up the suspension a little bit. This will make your car less twitchy and nervous and helps you with keeping it smooth while you're caught in the groove. Everything I've covered up until now can be practiced on your own, but racing alone is no substitute for the loving touch of another human being. And by that I mean another driver crashing into you. In a wet race, there's always a few people that slide all over the track, and sometimes it's everyone. On top of struggling to keep your car on track, you gotta avoid all the idiots that are trying to survive while going as fast as they can. Spatial awareness is key in a wet race. When you're driving on a dry circuit and a lad in front of you crashes, in most cases you can avoid them with jerking your wheel around. But when you're racing in the wet, such a reaction will often do more harm than good. So you gotta keep your distance from the other drivers you don't trust. You gotta position yourself to have an escape route when things go south. Try to anticipate what other drivers are gonna do. Look in your rear view mirrors to see if any crazy people are braking too late. Because if they're slipping and you can avoid them, that's a huge win for you. Anyway, that's all the tips I got for driving in the rain. I hope they help you out a bit. Give the like button a loving touch, subscribe for more silky smooth sim racing content, and I'd love to see you guys in my next video. Sweet dreams, my beautiful baby boys. Mwah.